Welcome back to This Old House here in Barrington, Rhode Island. Today we'll add some waves to our house by the sea.
Inside, we'll put up new trim and put down hardwood flooring. And outside, a brand new deck. So the clip simply goes into the groove. We want to drill it at about a 45-degree angle. Well, it does take a little longer to install this blind fastening system, but it looks great.
Right here on This Old House.
The last time we were here, the landscaping was installed. All this new sod, the plants, and all the mulch, and it looks terrific. At the same time, framing had started on the new deck. When we started the project, there was a deck here. It had a metal frame with an awning that went over it, and the homeowners really like that feature. It's a great outdoor space for entertaining, and it gives good views of the bay. But when Andy took a closer look at the original frame, you decided we had to replace the whole thing.
Had to go. It was actually substandard. It was 2x6s, and over the span that was here, it was really spongy and really unsafe for a lot of people.
Right, so you've gone to 2x8s now, and you actually made the deck a little bit bigger.
We did. It afforded us the opportunity when we added onto the house to extend the deck down about 6.5 feet or so. Use 2x8s, and instead of having the cantilevered beam, which is somewhat typical.
Right, and sticks down.
Right, we did a flush beam on the outside. And with this door in the basement, when you used to come out of it, you had to duck twice. So now you only have to duck once coming out.
It's still a little tight, but you got a little more clearance now.
Right.
Now, the original deck had pressure-treated decking for a surface.
It did, and you know, it was really in tough shape. In fact, it was starting to rot. So we opted to go talk to the homeowners and see what they wanted to do for their decking. So we had a couple of options. One was the composite. That's very common today.
Right. We've used a lot of this material.
But the homeowner opted to go with wood. And we had a couple of choices that we gave them. One was Epay.
Right.
Excellent, excellent wood. Very resilient, very dense, lasts a really long time.
Right. Heavy and expensive.
Expensive, that's the key. So what we did is we showed them garapa.
Garapa. I don't think I've ever seen this before.
Comes from the same docks as Epay, South America. It's a little less dense, and it's not to be confused with the Italian alcohol.
Okay.
It's resistant to rot and resistant to bugs. So it's going to last a long time for Jeff and Michelle.
All right, good choice. And using 5/4 by 6.
Yep.
And I see that you started with a nice perimeter board that goes all the way around, mitered the corner, and you hold it down with screws that are in countersunk holes.
Exactly. And then we take these bungs of the same material, stick them in there, glue it, sand it out, and you never see where those fasteners are.
All right, so these fasteners go through the top, but in the rest of the deck, you're using a hidden fastener system.
That's right. And in our board, we have a groove.
Right, now did you make all the grooves?
No, our supplier took care of that for us prior to getting here.
So the clip simply goes into the groove, and it actually has these little tabs which do automatic spacing for you.
Right, and the great thing about this is that this clip has got a metal piece inside, not your typical piece of plastic.
Right.
And what it allows us to do is when we get the screw in there, when we draw it down, it holds our decking down tight to the wood.
Right, and the screw and the plate is stainless steel, which is great near the ocean.
Right, we don't want this to oxidize and deteriorate, and then the deck releases from the lumber.
All right, can I give you a hand putting a few boards down?
Absolutely, love to have you help. After I break this edge, Norm, maybe you could hit it with the sealer?
Right, now this is just a wax sealer, and it's an important step because otherwise water can get into the end grain of this piece and then it could split and check. You don't want to get too much of this on. If it gets on the surface, then it shows up later.
Yeah.
So you started installing the decking from the border in.
Right.
The boards are grooved on both ends, both edges, and they have to slide into the clips that have already been installed to hold down the previous board. Sometimes that can be a little tricky.
Right, and sometimes you need a little extra persuasion. We grab this little lever wrench, locks onto our joist, and we give it a little push, and it brings it in nice and tight.
Nice and tight. So now we're ready for the clip, which slips into the groove. And then we want to pre-drill a hole about a 45-degree angle. Okay. Now the head of the screw is painted black, so it blends in with the clip. Well, it does take a little longer to install this blind fastening system, but it looks great. Any plan to seal it when it's finished?
No, we're just gonna let it weather down on its own to that nice silver gray.
I like it, no maintenance.
Au naturel.
All right, I'll see you later inside.
You got it.
Our entire house is clad in red cedar shingles, and over much of the home you can see that it is mostly just straight coursing. But on 3 of the gables, you can see right up here on this one, it is actually a wavy pattern of shingles. Now that gable is complete, but we have 2 other that we have to work on, and we're actually working on this gable right now. You can buy patterned shingles in all different shapes. You can get diamonds, you can get scallops, you can even get waves. But our architect didn't like what was commercially available. So she made a drawing, and our guys have actually created a template right here so that they can cut square shingles right on site. And Chris, you're one of Andy's lead guys. That's what you're working on right now. Right. Tell me about this pattern you guys are working with.
Well, I got a drawing here, Kevin, and at the bottom you can see up top there, our first course is 12'6".
Right.
And instead of creating a jig that was 12'6" wide for only one course, what I've done is divided my gable into a left and a right side.
So we're working with a much smaller jig.
Right, it's a smaller jig and it's more efficient, and it's roughly 6'3" is all we need to start our first course.
Okay, and it looks like you've actually got some of the shingles already in place.
Right, I just grabbed some random shingles. I'm starting my coursing, and we just gotta drop these in place now.
Not so bad there, right?
Just give this a shave quick.
So you just want to make sure you get a tight fit. You might as well do that down here on the ground.
Right, we want it tight along the bottom here and tight to each other.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab that end of this stick here.
And so what's this for?
This is gonna hold it in place for when we go to router it. What we wanna do, Kevin, is put 1 screw in each shingle. That prevents the router from kicking the shingles forward and off my template. Want to hand me that router, Kevin?
Sure, here you go.
What we got here is a flush cut bit. It has a bearing on the bottom.
Right.
What this does, it rides along this guide set to the depth of these shingles, and it cuts our pattern.
Okay, I'll get some glasses on. Oh, that's really nice. Nice and smooth and perfect every time, right? So we can get this brace out of here?
Not quite yet, Kevin. Before we do this with any shingling job, you want to make sure that your joints don't line up. So before we take this off, we're going to line these up.
So just sort of dry lay them out at this point?
Just dry lay them out now and make sure that we have at least 1 inch between our joints.
Right, so we got a seam right down here, and we just want to make sure that it's offset up above.
Correct.
All right, that makes sense. Better do the work down here than up on the scaffolding.
Right, we look pretty good on this course. Let's slide these up.
Okay.
If you take this, Kevin, start down there, we can unscrew this brace. Just flip this brace over, Kevin.
Yep.
Now as we pull them off, we want to make sure we stack them in order.
Okay.
Keep our wave pattern the same.
Yeah, we don't want to shuffle them now, do we?
No.
And so these are an entire course, or half of an entire course, ready to go. Can I bring these up to George?
Ready to roll.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. So down on the ground, Chris is in charge of fabricating the shingles, and up here, George, you're installing them for us.
That's right. So installing shingles, wave pattern versus a straight pattern, is not much difference. The only difference in this particular instance is that we have this fascia here, and we want the shingles to come on top of that, but of course there's 3/4 discrepancy there. So in order to get these shingles to go on top of this fascia, we've padded out with shingles.
Oh, I see.
So that it fades up, and these just lap right on top to expose the bottom of that wave pattern.
Okay, so that first course is in, and I see a ledger board that's installed right here. That's just to give us a straight line across.
Right, exactly.
All right, and these are in a particular order.
Yep, they're all labeled for us.
Did I give you the right one?
Yep,
All right.
just put them right up and make sure our wave is consistent here, and then we just put it in.
Is this the next one here?
Yep, so obviously our shingles don't work now as we're coming into the eaves.
Right.
So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take a measurement wherever this top of the shingle intersects. You have 4 3/8.
All right.
We're gonna line it up on our board here.
Lay these down.
Yep, lay them in order. line up our pattern. We like it, so we're going to take that measurement, which is 4 3/8. We're going to take this out of sequence. And then we're going to get our square here, get our 5.5 pitch, and I'm going to go like this. I'm going to push this up to here, and just do it right on this one. Put it back in sequence.
So that's actually the pitch of our roof right there.
Right. And we're going to take a straight edge, and we're going to line it up and follow that mark all the way through it.
Okay.
What we're going to do is we're just going to take our shingles we've already cut, make sure the wave looks nice, line them up, and we're just going to shoot them. Kevin, this last shingle is really fragile, so what we're going to do is we're going to throw a bead of caulk on here, and that's just going to help it stay on the building. And we're going to put it in here, and we are going to attach it with some stainless steel finish nails, and we'll do the same thing for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th course. And that's the last shingle.
That's a really nice detail. Good job.
Thank you.
Well, inside, installation of hardwood flooring is well underway. So Andy, what are we using?
We're using a 4-inch rustic red oak.
Wow, you know, once that's sanded and finished, it's going to look great. And the majority of the first floor is going to be the hardwood.
Exactly. It's just a couple of rooms that have some tiling.
Okay, and you're installing it east-west, just like the deck.
Yeah, interestingly enough, that wasn't our original intention. The old subfloor ran east-west, so typically you would go perpendicular to that. That's the
'cause
strongest
the
floor.
subfloor is a series of boards, and it's not sheathing. You want to go the other way.
Right, but our homeowner had a different opinion. He wanted the floors to go east-west to kind of follow the beach line, if you will. But we needed to put down something that would hold that floor in this direction. So we ripped up all that old subfloor, and we put down this 3/4-inch structural floor.
Wow, that's a lot of work just to change the direction of the floor.
Yeah, but at least in this case, we can put the floor any direction.
All right. So other than that, it looks like a pretty standard procedure. You've put down this red rosin paper, which gives a little separation between the flooring and the subfloor so that they can move differently if they have to.
Right, and it prevents squeaking.
Now you're also well underway with the interior trim.
We are, and you'll notice that it's a really nice, clean, simple design.
Right, you've used a 1x4 for the side casings. The head casing is a little bit wider and it's thicker, so it's proud of the side casing both at the front and at the end.
Right, it gives it a nice shadow line, not only there, but on the top where we have that 1/2-inch full round-over bullnose.
Right, nice simple detail. Now this is one of the few walls remaining, and it was out of plumb a little bit, which makes trimming out difficult.
It does. In fact, we plumbed the door, which made us have to take the casing and put a filler behind it. And up top there, you'll see that we have the other filler.
Right.
And Rick is finishing up the head case, and he's going to put another filler piece here and along the top, glue it on, put our bullnose on the top, and then put it all up as one piece.
All right. A little bit of glue on top of the side casings.
Yeah, let me take the glue, you can have the gun.
All right, about a 1/2 inch over. So the windows get the same detail?
Yes, they do.
How many more days on trim?
Well, the upstairs is complete, and we have about 3 more windows down here. Maybe about a day.
You're right on schedule.
Yes, we are.
Our homeowners are already thinking about moving in, and it turns out they have a pretty eclectic mix of furniture and artwork. Fortunately, the designer we're working with shares their tastes, as I found out the other day when I visited her showroom. Our Barrington, Rhode Island project is just 10 minutes from downtown Providence and from this neighborhood. It is called Down City and is the heart of Providence's shopping and cultural district. And a street like this is just lined with restaurants, coffee shops, bookstores, but it is also where we can find our interior designer, Lisa Newman Paratore. Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Kevin, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you very much. So it's been a while. I mean, we worked with you almost 7 years ago on our Carlisle project.
Yeah, it was a long time.
And I knew you were still in the design business, but I had no idea you'd become a shopkeeper too.
I have. About 4 years ago, I opened the store. I'd love to show you around.
Please do.
Come on over and take a look at one of my favorite things.
Look at all of this stuff. Do you choose everything in here?
I do. I'm the official curator of the collection, so to speak. Wow. This chandelier is one of my favorite pieces. It's why it's in the window. It's made of real wine glasses.
Well, it sure is.
And what I love about it, it's a good representation of my store. We're really a design gallery, and everything here has a combination of great design and value, and also it's a functional item.
It's a unique piece. Now I know where the expression hanging from the chandelier comes from.
Exactly.
Wow, all right.
Over here I have some really wonderful local art. It's an assemblage technique or a collage technique. Mm-hmm. She uses found objects, and these are hanging next to something by contrast that's made in Haiti. These are made from old oil drums. They're banged out flat, and then they use a hammer and chisel and carve them. It's nice, I think, for my customers to see that you can hang unusual combinations together and they can really work together.
So the display helps.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I was very happy about with the homeowners was I saw that they have one of these pieces in their art collection.
So maybe you guys have similar tastes.
I think we do. I'm looking forward to working there.
So do homeowners, or actually do your design clients come in here as well, or is it just for people walking in off the street?
No, a lot of times I'll invite my clients to come in because it gives them an opportunity to see floor samples and give them a chance to sit on the furniture, kind of kick the wheels. This is a great example of that, this chair, which is so beautiful in a picture, but you can really see that it's actually a beautiful and comfortable piece. It was designed by a fashion designer. She also designed the textile collection, and it's a very good example of the kind of furniture that I like to work with.
So it's not just a shop, this is your showroom.
It's both, absolutely. Yep. This table is another good thing for clients to see because what looks like a traditional breadboard detail on the end actually opens up.
Yeah.
There's one on both sides. You can put in two 12-inch leaf extensions and really make a big table.
So it must help to have the homeowners come in and actually see how this stuff functions, how it actually feels.
Yeah, it gives people a lot of peace of mind to see things in person. This is another great example of an unusual thing that I like to work with. They're made in Germany, and they're plastic, so they can be inside or outside.
What are they?
It's a cube. It's a stool or a table. They can stack for storage. Like I said, they can be used outside or inside, and you can also turn them inside out and use them as a storage piece.
Wow, very eclectic indeed. All right. Well, let's see what else you have.
Sure, come on over here. Lighting, of course, is always a really important consideration in decorating, and I really like to provide good, affordable, and interesting options. These pendants are available just as you see them with the plug. You can buy one and take it home and use it tonight, or I can order it to be hardwired and in lots of different fabric choices. And then we also have these wonderful customizable lamps. You start by choosing the silhouette of the base. This is this. And then we go to the finishes. You choose what color you'd like the base to be. And then the fabric for the shade, or you can choose to use your own fabric also.
So you say affordable, but when I hear something that is that customizable, I'm thinking expensive.
It's really not. This collection starts at about $100 and goes up to about $300 depending on the size of the lamp.
Not bad, right?
No, not at all. And then, of course, we always like to provide as many finishing touches as possible. These decorative items can be purchased as a gift for my customers in the store, or for my design clients. A lot of times these are just the punctuation mark you need to finish a project.
So somebody could outfit their entire house by just coming into your store.
Absolutely, that's our goal. So Kevin, it's really fun to show you the store, but what I'd really like to talk about is your project.
We do have a house to design, right?
Yeah, exactly. When I'm working with clients and we need to spread out, I have access to this incredible atrium space. It's right behind my store, part of my building.
And so you can use this, you can actually bring clients here and set up shop?
Yeah, the building was originally a department store. Now it's urban lofts, and it's part of my workspace.
Great, all right. Well, let's talk about how you got started with our clients. What am I looking at?
These are some things that the clients already own. And so this is a very good point of reference for me to see where we're going to start with the project.
So maybe some artwork, a sideboard, looks like a rug from an office.
Yes.
What do you see when you look at these?
What I see are very carefully chosen treasures from all over the world. It's very helpful for me to have an understanding of what the customer or the client is really looking for.
Okay, so this is what they have, but where do they want to end up?
What we do next is start to look at pictures of where they would like their project to be when it's finished. These are some pictures that they showed me. They're incredibly helpful because what I see is a really high contrast of textures from very organic to very industrial, but done in a very harmonious color palette.
Right.
When you head over to this picture, you really see a lot the same. The light fixture is very contemporary, but then you have this very organic art.
So I hear you say consistent. It sounds like they actually gave you a good roadmap?
An outstanding one. Yeah, at this point I really can see where we're headed.
Oh, that's great. All right. So we've got a good roadmap. We know you've got the design smarts because we've worked with you in the past, and now we know you've got all these resources right here at your fingertips.
Exactly.
I can't wait to see what you come up with.
Thank you.
Now all the exterior trim on our house is PVC. And the architect called for some brackets on the gable ends. And we could have made our own. We could have taken pieces of the same PVC, glued them together, clamped them, and when they dried, we could cut them out so that we ended up with brackets like this. But Mark White is here to show us an alternative. Hey, Mark.
Hi, Norm.
So what do you got for us?
Well, these are high-density polyurethane. We make them in a rubber mold. It makes it so that you don't have to do all that glue up, sanding, finishing. They come out of the box ready to go.
Just like this?
Just like
Wow,
that.
that's great. And you have a full catalog of them.
We do. We have over 450 profiles.
Wow.
We also have custom capabilities where if you give us an original that's complex,
That sure is, yep.
and then we can actually do one that looks just like it out of polyurethane.
Wow, and what I really like about this is it's never going to rot. It's not going to require the maintenance that this wood does.
No, not at all. It's perfect for the marine environment, just like the rest of them. There's also the possibility to do highly detailed stuff, carved moldings, things like that, that would be very expensive for you
It'd
to
be
do.
prohibitive. It'd be hours and hours of carving, both in wood, and you wouldn't even try to do it on the PVC.
No.
Now, how about installing these? Anything tricky about that?
Oh, installation's the easy part. All you do is drill a hole, a screw and a screw, a little bit of adhesive, all done.
Great, Mark. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Ah, the finishing touch on the gable end. And you guys do it all.
We try to. I've got some pretty talented guys, and because of it, we don't need too many subs.
All right, well, you're privileged to have such a great crew.
Yes, I am.
And a great day's work today.
It sure was.
So until next time, I'm Norm Abram
And I'm Andy Tiplady.
for This Old House. Boy, you guys get some great sunsets down here.
Spectacular.
Coming up next time on This Old House, we'll show you a new concept in interior paint.
It's called full spectrum color.
Which means what?
We'll show you how we're using decorative veneers to create our cabinet doors. Wow, look at that. That finish really brings out the figure of that cherry.
And we'll set the new soaking tub with the help of some plaster.
So there's no movement, and also the homeowner, when she steps in, it's a nice solid base.
That's next time on This Old House.